Hello, today I will talk about Henry VIII and his 6 wives. Henry VIII was born on 28th of July 1491. He was the second son of Henry VII and Elizabeth of York. His elder brother, Arthur, was the heir to the throne after their father's death, and Henry was only the second in line. At the age of 11, Arthur was formally betrothed to Catherine of Aragon, the daughter of the powerful Catholic monarchs in Spain, in an effort to forge an Anglo-Spanish alliance against France. In 1502, Arthur died at the age of 15, possibly of sweating sickness, just 20 weeks after his marriage to Catherine. Arthur's death thrust all his duties upon his younger brother, the 10-year-old Henry. Catherine later stated that the marriage had not been consummated, they didn't have sex. 1 year after Arthur's death, Henry VII renewed his efforts of sealing an alliance with Spain by arranging for Catherine to marry Arthur's younger brother Henry, who in the future will be the infamous King Henry VIII. Henry VII died on 21 April 1509, and the 17-year-old Henry succeeded him as king. Although his earlier objection, Henry took Catherine as his wife. Catherine had long red hair, wide blue eyes, a round face, and a fair complexion. She studied civil law, classical literature, history, philosophy, religion, theology, and more. She had a strong religious upbringing and developed her Roman Catholic faith. She learned to speak, read, and write in Spanish and Latin, and spoke French and Greek. She was also taught domestic skills such as cooking, dancing, drawing, good manners, music, needlepoint, and more. Catherine was a supportive consort to Henry and popular with her subjects. Their union was not to continue happily. Catherine was pregnant at least 6 times between 1509 and 1518, and only one child survived, their daughter Mary. It was not good enough for Henry, who wanted a son to secure the dynasty. Henry fell in love with Catherine's lady-in-waiting, Anne Boleyn, who wasn't willing to be his mistress, but his queen. Henry decided to divorce Catherine of Aragon, who didn't give him a male heir, and to marry Anne Boleyn. To excuse his divorce from Catherine, he claimed that the marriage was forbidden from the beginning, since she was married to his brother. That's why she doesn't give birth to a son. It was this argument Henry took to the Pope Clement VII in 1527, in the hope of having his marriage to Catherine annulled, but the Pope refused. At 1531, Catherine was banished from court, and her rooms were given to Anne. Anne was unusually educated and intellectual woman for her time, and was engaged with the ideas of the Protestant reformers. Henry was married to Catherine for 24 years. Their divorce has been described as a deeply wounding and isolating experience for Henry. Anne discovered that she was pregnant in early 1533. Without the blessing of the Pope, on January 25, 1533, Henry and Boleyn quickly married in a secret ceremony led by Thomas Cranmer. On September 7, 1533, Queen Anne gave birth to a daughter, Elizabeth, who would be Henry VIII's only child with Boleyn to survive infancy. In 1534, Archbishop Cranmer decreed Henry's marriage to Catherine of Aragon invalid because she was the king's sister-in-law. Henry subsequently broke inland from Rome by setting up the Church of England. The king and queen were not pleased with married life. The royal couple enjoyed periods of calm and affection, but Anne refused to play the submissive role expected of her. The vivacity and opinionated intellect that had made her so attractive made her too independent for the role of a royal wife, and it made her many enemies. Henry disliked Anne's constant irritability and violent temper. After a false pregnancy or miscarriage in 1534, he saw failure to give him a son as a betrayal. In 1536, the queen, pregnant again, was aware of the danger if she failed to give birth to a son. At the time, Henry began paying attention to Jane Seymour, who was one of Anne's ladies-in-waiting. Later that month, Anne had a miscarriage. As Anne recovered from her miscarriage, Henry declared that he had been seduced into the marriage by means of deception. His new mistress, Jane Seymour, was quickly moved into royal quarters. Shortly after she had recovered from her final miscarriage, 5 men, including Anne's brother, were arrested on charges of treasonable adultery and accused of having sexual relationships with the Queen. Anne was also arrested, accused of treasonous adultery and incest. Although the evidence against them was unconvincing, the accused were found guilty and condemned to death. On the 2nd of May 1536, Anne was taken to the Tower of London. On 19 May, she was executed. The day after Anne's execution, in 1536, the 45-year-old Henry became engaged to Seymour, who had been one of the Queen's ladies-in-waiting. They got married 10 days later. Jane was not as highly educated as Henry's first and second wives, Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn. She could read and write a little, but was much better at needlework and household management, which were considered much more necessary for women at the time. Her well-publicized sympathy for the late Queen Catherine and her daughter Mary showed her to be compassionate and made her a popular figure with the common people and most of the courtiers. On the 12th of October, 1537, Jane gave birth to a son, Prince Edward, the future Edward VI. The birth was difficult, and the Queen died on 24th of October from an infection. The euphoria that had accompanied Edward's birth became sorrow. After her death, Henry wore black for the next 3 months. Having considered the matter, Cromwell suggested Anne of Cleves to be the next wife of Henry. The 25-year-old sister of the Duke of Cleves, Anne was seen as an important ally in case of a Roman Catholic attack on England. Hans Holbein the Younger was dispatched to Cleves to paint a portrait of Anne for the king. After seeing Holbein's portrait, the 49-year-old king agreed to wed Anne. When Anne came to court, Henry expressed his disappointment for her appearance, saying she was nothing like she was described. Anne herself wasn't pleased from the king, who at this point was obese and had a very bad smell that came from an injury in his leg. Despite Henry's very vocal misgivings, the two were married on the 6th of January 1540 at the Royal Palace of Plaistea in Greenwich, London, by Archbishop Thomas Cranmer. The couple's first night as husband and wife was not a successful one. Henry told Cromwell that he had not consummated the marriage, saying, "I liked her before not well, but now I like her much worse." Catherine Howard was one of Anne of Cleves' ladies-in-waiting. Henry VIII first became attracted to the young girl in 1540, when he was seeking to end his politically motivated marriage to Anne of Cleves. Anne was commanded to leave the court on 24th of June, and on the 6th of July she was informed of her husband's decision to reconsider the marriage. Shortly afterwards, Anne was asked for her consent to an annulment, to which she agreed. The marriage was annulled on the 9th of July, 1540. The former queen received a generous settlement, including Richmond Palace and Havercastle, home of Henry's former in-law, the Boleyn's. On July 28, 1540, Henry and Catherine Howard were privately married. He publicly acknowledged her as queen on August 8th. She was a teenager, and he was 49. Catherine may have been involved during her marriage to the king with Henry's favorite male courtier, Thomas Culpeper. She had considered marrying him during her time as a maid of honor to Anne of Cleves. She also employed Frances Dereham, who had previously been informally engaged to her and had an affair with her prior to her marriage, as her secretary. The court was informed of her affair with Dereham whilst Henry was away. Though Henry originally refused to believe the allegations, Dereham confessed. Catherine was stripped of her title as queen on 23rd of November 1541 and imprisoned in accusation of adultery. Culpeper and Dereham were both executed, and Catherine too was beheaded. Henry married his last wife, the wealthy widow Katherine Parr, in July 1543. She was a friend of Catherine of Aragon when she was alive, and renewed a friendship with her daughter Mary. By February 16, 1543, Catherine had established herself as a part of Mary's household, and it was there that Catherine caught the attention of the king. Although she had begun a romantic friendship with Sir Thomas Seymour, the brother of the late Queen Jane Seymour, she saw it as her duty to accept Henry's proposal over Seymour's. Catherine married Henry on 12 July 1543 at Hampton Court Palace. She was the first Queen of England, also to be Queen of Ireland, following Henry's adoption of the title King of Ireland. Henry went on his last unsuccessful campaign to France from July to September of 1544, leaving Catherine as his regent. Catherine obtained effective control and was able to rule as she saw fit. She handled provision, finances, and muster for Henry's French campaign, and signed 5 royal proclamations. Parr helped reconcile Henry with his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth. Shortly before he died, Henry made provision for an allowance of 7,000 euros per year for Catherine to support herself. He further ordered that, after his death, Catherine, though a queen dowager, should be given the respect of a queen of England, as if he were still alive. Henry died at the age of 55 on 28th of January 1547. He was buried in a vault at St. George's Chapel's, Windsor Castle, next to Jane Seymour, his third wife. So that's it. With his 6 wives, he was left with Elizabeth, the daughter of Catherine of Aragon, who will be Elizabeth I, with Marie, who will be Bloody Mary from Anne Boleyn, and with Edward from Jane Seymour. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.